Oh, shit. Yeah, let me go and get this thing back up, and here we go.
Now, I would like to introduce the one, the only, me.
Hey guys, squiddies, all that. It's Dre, Tattoo is Good podcast here with Joel and Andrew from the Cartoon Dumpster Dive, which is like my
Woo-woo.
favorite. I'm not.
Hey, hey.
It's like one of my favorite shows. We call it, so it's like I get to
Thanks.
hear about your interceptions of like the cartoons that you like review.
Yeah.
Like Godzilla, the 1972 Godzilla. I love that one. That one's, I mean, the cartoon itself, I love.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I like everything like, Denver the Last Dinosaur. That was the very first episode I heard from you guys. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
God, thank goodness it wasn't Sherlock Holmes.
no,
That's our
I haven't got there. And I remembered Sherlock Holmes had a cartoon, and it was like the futuristic, I think it was.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was our very first episode, and looking back on it, I was just like, God, we had no clue what we were doing.
Didn't know about like proper distance of the microphone from your mouth. So it's
Levels
like,
or anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's their roughest copy. Like every time somebody's like, I'm gonna check out your podcast. I'm gonna start with episode one. I'm like, don't do that.
I know. Don't you hate when they go and they ask you like, "Oh, what episode?" We're gonna start from the beginning because I was like, because when I did mine, I did it through my phone.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So and no, but actually through my phone and through the Bluetooth of the car radio.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
So I would talk and then you can hear it like the good surround sound of your car.
yeah.
And then everything else. But when I do interviews, like when I, go and send an invite or whatever, it was so weird because every time somebody, like, say if I send an invite to you guys while I was doing that thing in my car, you guys would sound like you are in we call it like a personal space that you came out so clear, and I
Right.
Yeah.
was the one that you were interviewing.
Yeah.
You know, because it sounded like that radio talk show thing. Like, hey, we got we got Andre here. Like, Dad, I'm in the desert. Like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. You hear the wind and everything, and it was just like it was crazy. I'm like, the guests sound a lot better than what I would, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, you know what? Let me just do it like this, and but I did mostly for like a season, through the phone, basically.
Really.
Yeah, it was just like I did like 100 episodes with, through the phone and just talking about anything, and everybody's like, "Oh, what episode should I listen to?" I'm like, you know what? I don't even know what episode is what. So all I know is I just talk a lot of shit. So hey, pick
There you
whatever.
go. Yeah.
Just pick one. You might as well just do like a dice. Roll the dice and whatever number you
Like
get.
a
There you go.
dive, like a deep dive, dumpster dive kind of
Yeah.
thing. Just go
Yeah.
dumpster diving into whatever.
We had some decent enough equipment when we first started, just because I had equipment from trying to be a voice actor, but it
Okay.
didn't work out. So I was like, you know what? We got all this shit. Might as well just start a podcast. It's like voice acting without auditions. So there you go.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's almost like one of those, I'm not gonna say not an autobiography, but it's almost like a diary kind of thing, but like a video diary.
Yeah.
You just talking,
Yeah.
you're spewing your guts out, and just let it fly. And that's how I was doing it. And I was like, it's kind of like a radio DJ. And I wanted to be one of those, but I didn't want to go to school. you know, so I didn't
Yeah, I
want,
feel you.
because, and honestly, the way I came about, well, I wanted, like I said, I wanted to do the radio DJ thing because when I was in high school, or I think it was junior high, I'm not sure what, I had this music teacher, and he was like the coolest fucking music teacher. Wasn't an old guy who was like like in his 30s or something like that. So he wasn't like this old guy like, okay, here, just do these music notes and then we'll get back to doing something like lame. This guy brought in like electric guitars and BC Riches and everything about heavy metal, and he'll show you how to write music. And then it was just cool being in that class. And then he's like, you know what, we're gonna do a radio station. And I'm like, oh wow, that's so fucking cool. So I got into the whole thing, but even though I failed, I failed that one part. uh, Basically, but it got me to want me to do more of it. I like to be heard, not seen. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, I've noticed a lot of podcasts will do like YouTube stuff. Like they'll have their podcast on YouTube and film themselves, which kind of takes away from the audio medium of it all. Although we are trying to work on a YouTube channel, I just need to get a good enough camera.
Yeah. I know my parents, they always told me I had a face for radio.
There you go.
So, I mean, I figured podcast next best thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, we could, like I said, because I started out doing video. And I don't know why, but it just turned out that way because it was easier. And I didn't know how to do audio. So when I found out about the platform I'm using, which is Anchor, and it was like so easy, as they say, it's easier to do a podcast when you use Anchor or whenever anything else. So when I was doing YouTube for maybe a month, I guess, and then I found Anchor, and then I started doing this, and I'm like, oh, this would be cool. So I can do this, and I'll do some unboxing on video, every once in a while. Yeah. And then I got into like season 2, and I'm like talking to all podcasters and with all their different shows, and just go like somebody said, oh, he's like a late night talk show host. He walks you through everything. You kind of like get into like an adventure or journey.
I like that.
I wish we had thought of it. It would save us a lot of free time from watching all these terrible ass cartoons we decided to research.
But the cartoons are really cool. I mean, I always thought myself to come back to my 80s cartoons. Like I'll sit there at Saturday mornings, and now it's like Saturday mornings now it's like the cartoons are just lame for me. I'm like, oh, what the fuck
you got Netflix. This is like you don't have to wait till Saturday morning no more. You
well, that's true.
Pop them on.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say there was something almost magical about Saturday morning when you're a kid.
Yeah.
It's it's the first day after school week, and you're just so excited to wake up, eat a bowl of cereal, and sit down and watch your cartoons. And like, I don't know, I would like to recapture that. Like, I don't know. I think it would be nice if you could still have that feeling of Saturday morning. Oh man, I'm gonna just sit on my ass and watch a cartoon.
Only way I'm waking up at the ass crack of dawn ever again is still on a Saturday is to watch cartoons. For sure.
Like you wake up there and you're like, all right, what am I gonna watch first? Am I gonna watch I'm gonna watch the Smurfs, or I'm gonna watch the Snorks, or am I gonna watch like Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon version, or go right to fucking He-Man and Sectars? And there are some cartoons that you guys talk about that I have not, I forgot, or I did not even know about, and I can't remember what that one was that I heard you guys say something the last time I heard you. It was I forgot what it was, but I was like, I never heard of this. It wasn't Tiger Sharks because I've seen those. That one I've seen like many times, and dinosaurs and yeah.
Well, Tiger Sharks is the one that you requested, so that's the one that we did today. Yeah, that episode should be out today, Wednesday. I don't know when your episodes come out.
Mine's are like everybody else's like kind of episodes come out like 2-3 days, whatever, after they do the editing and everything else. Mine, I don't really do editing at all. So it is what it is. It's like raw, uncut, boom, 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 and then that's it. And it's, it goes on YouTube and it goes like on audio, and then uh, so then that was basically the whole spiel of the whole thing, and then I go in order basically. So whoever I have that's on my calendar, that's what I go by. So it's like,
I
oh,
got
I
you.
got
Nice.
this person,
Yeah.
and then I'll just set that out. So at least I have some kind of content for every week.
We
Yeah.
used to have new episodes every Monday, but that was just so difficult to do.
Yeah.
I think it was this year that we were like, we'll just switch it to Wednesday. It's just like, and it got a lot easier. It's just like you can get a lot more ahead. And
Yeah.
I know that when people are like, I've never heard of some of the cartoons you've covered, and it's like that's kind of like the hook of our show,
Yeah.
because everybody wants to talk about the popular ones, but it's really easy to make fun of the shitty ones that no one's ever heard of. I think
Yeah.
Deke Entertainment is our bread and butter. They exclusively made terrible cartoons.
What is the one cartoon that you just totally, even though you did a review for, which one is like, like, oh, I don't know why I watched this? Or, even though you had to review it, you're like, I don't know if I don't like this at all, but we had to do the review. So,
That's a pretty good question. I know right off the top of my head, there was the one show, Sea Bear and Jamal. Is that what it was called, Andrew?
Yeah, there was Seabear and Jamal. We couldn't find that one.
And that one, I think we was able to find clips,
Yeah.
but maybe it was just the video quality of the clips. But that one was, I remember that one just being a painful episode for me to do. Uh, I think you might feel the same, Andrew, but it was mainly just because it was brutal just trying to find any information on that cartoon.
yeah.
I would say it was when we got requested by a production company to review their newest animated movie, Lava.
Real.
And
Oh, wow.
that movie was terrible. One, it was a modern day one. So I was really on the fence about doing it.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it's okay. You guys can review it. It'll be great for us. It'll be great for you. And we got like it's like the first time I've ever gotten it was like the borders of like, you can't show this to anybody
Yeah.
but yourself. And Joel and I watched it. And if you really want to listen to an unfiltered review of ours where we don't hold back on anything, you can go listen to Lava, because I did not hold back at all. I despise watching that waste of time. Do you remember that, Joel?
I take my answer back because I remember that. I think I was trying to block that from my memory.
I
I'm
wanted
taking-
you to
taking
go
I'm
first
retracting my
because
answer.
yeah, I wanted Joel to go first because I was wondering if he actually remembered reviewing Lava, but God, that it was terrible.
But once you
You
said it dawned on
uh,
him. It was like, fuck. Yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah.
it's so we'll get a little sidetrack here. I don't care, but I like to that movie. Have you ever watched something so bad where it's like time stops? Well, you'll be 5 minutes into it, but it feels like you've been watching it for an hour at least.
No, there was some.
That's
Yeah, there is some. There was
I
that
like,
think that movie was 2 hours.
that is that movie. I remember at one point just thinking to myself, like, man, I must be an hour and a half in this movie. And I looked down and it was only 10 minutes in. And I was like, this is terrible. This
Yeah.
is going to be a long day.
I always do whenever I go and watch like a movie or a TV show or whatever, and I click on it, and for some reason, like in the beginning, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna watch this one. This is cool. And then I get like 2 minutes into it. And I'm like, nah. And then I just change it. It's not even the fact that I hate it or anything. It was just that I get bored too easily. It's just like I've seen this before. I know how it turns out. And it's like,
I think medical doctors call that ADD, don't they?
I mean, you could be, you could be right because I was talking to this one girl that does a podcast about the paranormal, and she was telling me, he's like, you got a lot of anxiety. So I'm like, really? I. But then now you stumped on it, and I'm like, shit, maybe that's.
We're no learned doctors or anything, but
Yeah, they're not doctors, but they're seeing if I have some kind of idiosyncrasy or something. I don't know. But when is your favorite cartoon to review? How about that? You got your yeah, and you got your oh fuck yeah,
the favorite one that we've done or
or the one that you've done, or the one that's coming up that you want to do, or
ooh, I don't want to spoil the one that we're gonna do because it's gonna be
Go
our
go ahead. Go ahead,
oh,
say it, man. I mean,
so
that's going to be next week. So
yeah,
I mean, you
next
might as
next
well say
week
it.
is ever since we've started, I've been pestering Joel to do this one, but it's a old school anime movie about the Vietnam War, but
okay.
it's done entirely with penguins.
I
Like
have
all
never heard of that one. I'm gonna have to
it's
watch
called
that.
it's called A Penguin's Memory, and you can find it on YouTube. But Joel has always been like, we can't do this. But for the 75th episode, I get my wish and we get to review it. But I am very happy.
Penguin Memory.
A Penguin's Memory.
Okay.
It's just, to me, it's one of those things you take something so serious, so tragic, like a war, and you're like, you know what? Let's slap some cute penguins in there. That'll soften the blow to the children.
Like Happy Feet.
Yeah. I would say probably my favorite is Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was a show that we both knew nothing about, and we was just trying to research. Like, hey, what should we do next week? And we just happened upon this title alone, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. And
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, like, man, this is the craziest name to a show. We have to talk about that. But when we actually got into the show, the story was captivating. To me, it almost had like a Johnny Quest feel to it,
Oh yeah.
which I grew up watching Johnny
Oh
Quest.
yeah.
So I was like, I just fell in love with it. It was, the backstory, the history of it was just fascinating. The show itself was pretty cool. The animation kind of held up. So that was the one where I went into that episode not knowing anything, but came out a fan of that series.
I binged the whole thing in one day. It's only 13 episodes long, but yeah, I watched all of it. I agree. That show is awesome.
So Cadillacs and Dinosaur. I don't think I ever heard that one either. I'm like, holy shit.
I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. Just the name alone, you're
Based
just
off
like,
of a
what does
comic
this
book
mean?
series called Xenozoic Tales.
Okay, I think I heard of that one because I've been collecting comics since I was like 8, and it's yeah, that's crazy. I'm like, good
You
thing
and
I wrote
Andrew
this
would.
down, so I'm gonna like look it up and all that, and I'm gonna check it out. So
I was about to say you and Andrew would get along pretty well. Andrew's my comic book guy.
Yeah,
If I have any questions about any comic related thing, I go to Andrew.
like, cause I don't go to like all different kinds of genres of comics. It's like stuff that I like to look at. Like I got the boxes that has all different from DC to Marvel to Image Comics to we call it Dark Cow Comics, Chaos Comics. I got a whole bunch of different brands,
Yep.
and I just go and collect all those, the ones I really love. And I know that one comic book that I love is called Wildcats, and they have a cartoon as well.
That's right. That's why that name sounds so familiar.
Oh, isn't that like a Canadian team superhero?
No, no,
Is that
No,
what it
you're thinking
is?
of Alpha Flight.
yeah, Alpha
Wildcats
Flight.
is
You're
like
thinking of, yeah.
from
Now
United
that
Kingdom
one
or
should have a
something.
movie. They
That
should
one
have a
should have
movie
a
for it.
movie. That would be
Yeah.
great.
You know, because they got everybody else has a fucking movie, but you know, hey, let's get Alpha Flight to do a fucking movie. You know,
That
especially
would
a
be cool.
Sasquatch and a little fucking puck. You know, with
Yeah, hell yeah.
you know, because you got Wolverine that's like 6'2" and looks like a god almost. You know, when he's basically five something. You know,
Yeah.
he's like 5'2", 5'3", I think he was.
Yeah.
Talking about in the comic, right?
Yeah, in the comics he's like 5'4", 5'2", but then when you see him in the movies, like Hugh Jackman, he's like 6'1", 6'2",
I
you know,
actually
despite
I
whatever sibling he's at, you know.
I read something where they was actually because though I think Hugh Jackman has retired from the Wolverine role
Yeah.
for like Marvel. So I think they were looking for a new actor to play him, and I saw there was like a petition floating around from fans who they wanted someone who
Yeah.
was the actual height of Wolverine, like like 5'4", 5'5", however tall he's supposed to be. Um, but I think that would be like I think the only actor in Hollywood that's that height is probably Kevin Hart. So I mean,
Yeah, true.
probably the only actor you could find that
But
fits
he's
that
not
bill.
like grizzly looking, you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
you
not a
know,
grizzled man.
yeah.
He's not, but I would I don't know, just out of shits
I
and
would love to
giggles, I
see
would love
Kevin
to see
Hart as
Kevin.
Wolverine. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, but
I know that a very famous comic book artist, Alex Ross, he painted Danny DeVito as Wolverine. As
What?
oh yeah.
like a very young from like twins, Danny DeVito as like Wolverine. Because if you look at the description of Wolverine and how Danny DeVito used to look back in the day when he had all of his hair,
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of is a one for one a little bit.
Yeah, but it's like because some of these comics and I always have a pet peeve about when I watch comic book movies. And you know, Andrew, you're probably in the same boat as I am because when I read comic books, and I've been reading them for like since like I said since I was 8, and you know like the front and back of like every saga or whatever comes in, you know, and especially like X-Men, you know, you gone from when they were like the black and yellow kind of like suits and all that, then they went to like the other like dark bluish and yellow and which is fine. But then when you look at the movie, you're like, oh wow, got an X Men movie. But then they throw everything in, like, oh wait, that character doesn't fucking show around until this war starts up or this kind of chaos, you know, starts up. You know, like X Men, where they go to the past, or Wolverine does.
Oh, Days of Future Past.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then that one they threw like everybody in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was just like it was a clusterfuck, and I'm like, I mean, it wasn't a clusterfuck like oh, this sucks. It was good, but they just had every character that should have not been in there until if they're going to go like in order, like they do with Harry Potter. They go like one movie for the book and everything else. So they should have done one movie with the thing. If they did their fucking homework, then
Yeah.
but I don't see myself getting sponsors now because since they're gonna hear this shit. But
Yeah.
anyway,
We
yeah,
I always got annoyed when they did this twice, but they kept trying to do the Phoenix Force saga into one movie.
yeah,
And that saga was 5 years, like 5 years of actual time of storytelling, and they try to condense it into like a 2 hour
yeah,
movie. And it's just like
exactly.
that's not gonna work, man. You can't shove all that into just one like nugget. It
Yeah,
just won't fit.
And
And
what
it
about
never works out because both those movies are terrible. Like both times they messed it up.
but what about how they would have one actor, and we all seen Deadpool, we all seen maybe Green Lantern, the
Yeah.
movie and all that, but um you always had like some actor playing, like Chris Evans. He was doing like he was the Torch on Fantastic Four. So then all of a sudden now Captain America comes out, but now he's Captain America, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, you're gonna confuse everybody that's a comic book fucking enthusiast. Like,
Sometimes those recasting are for the better because it's like I can't think of anybody who would be Captain America other than Chris Evans at this point.
well,
Same
yeah, but
with
then
like,
he's been that for whatever. But I mean, it's just like even Ryan Reynolds was making fun of it. He like the whole thing about like it's like, listen, just make me into a superhero, but don't give me a green suit and don't
yeah,
let me fly. You know. And I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, oh, the fourth wall, nice. You know, so, and it's even better when you watch like Deadpool and then more catastrophic and blood curdling deaths.
yeah.
So, but have you oh, what was it? There was like a whole bunch of cartoons, and like I said, there's some that I'm like, what cartoon is that? But I got good things to like look up. The Penguin Memory, Cadillacs and dinosaurs. But I think you should do like Wildcats as well. I don't know.
We plan to. It's on a list somewhere. We got a big
Yeah.
list of all this stuff to do. And it's like the well is never going to run out on cartoons that we can cover
Oh
from
yeah, no, definitely.
because we've gone. I think the furthest we've ever gone back was
67, I
yeah,
believe, or
60,
66.
67. However old the King Kong series that we had, that's the furthest we've gone. And we've thought about going. We've thought about doing episodes about like super offensive cartoons from back in the day, and just stuff like that.
Or maybe Super Friends or
Yeah,
uh
Super
Yeah,
Friends is another good one we could do.
you could do the Spider-Man cartoon from what was it? Was it the 60s? The
Yeah,
Spider-Man cartoon?
Superman and his amazing friends. We've thought about doing that.
that one's a
That
good cartoon. I always watch that one like every time it comes on. Yeah, when I was a kid, I was like, all right, I'll watch this one. It's like, yeah, but He-Man. I'm like, oh, I'll watch that after. Yeah.
and then we got there's a I mean there's even an old Avengers cartoon from I want to say it was the 90s, but
Yeah.
it wasn't very well received. I know there's an anime in the Marvel universe that came out in the 2000s where it's also a card game, but it's with the Marvel characters.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre. It's
Now,
something that I've wanted to cover.
now, is it like the cartoons that you do, like when you cover and all that, doesn't cover like everything from like you were saying the '60s, the '50s, '90s, or whatever, but different kinds of genres like cartoons, like say like anime or
Yeah.
uh yeah.
We'll do anime, slapstick humor. We'll do dramas. I want us to
Re-
start doing. We've done a slice of life where it's like teens have problems. We did one of those once. We'll cover just about anything.
Yeah,
The
nothing's
process of
really off the table.
yeah, the process of how we think about it is like we'll get done recording the episode and then we'll go, well, what do you want to do next week? And then hopefully we can figure it out then. But then if we don't, we'll just start Googling like obscure cartoons from the past. And just if we find one that really works out, we'll cover that one.
Now, how did you come up with cartoon dumpster dive? I mean, I understand cartoon and the dumpster dive, which you are doing as it is, but I mean, like, did you start like last year? Did you start like years ago, or is it just something like you were saying before that it's something that you were gonna do one thing and then like, oh, let's do a podcast. Like, who thought of the name
So,
and
So we're actually running up on about 2 years. I think in June it will be our 2 year anniversary of doing this. Um, but really, it was so we were sitting around at my house. I remember this, and at that time, I had started a different podcast with a co-worker of mine. Um, but in the back of my mind, I was like, man, I really want to do a podcast with my best friend Andrew because I
Yeah.
feel like we would have like good banter, basically.
Oh yeah.
And we just started talking about it and kind of started pitching around ideas. And was like, you know what? Let's. There was always a moment in our, I guess you could say, our relationship where there was a point early on where Andrew would constantly talk about this one cartoon that was about the president's dog was a part of a superhero team. But he was just like he kept telling me, he's like, I promise you this show is a real thing. It existed. I promise you. But I kept telling him that, do you remember this cartoon where Sherlock Holmes, had a robotic Watson?
Yeah.
And so it started out with this, you know, I guess not really need, but just this common thing that we had, like these cartoons that we really couldn't remember fully, but it was like tucked away in our memory.
Yeah.
And we just decided, you know what, let's just roll with it and let's just talk about these cartoons, find out more information about it, and just uh, share that with the ward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
figured that, surely there are other people who have this, like, I know this cartoon existed moment, and maybe we can help them find it.
No, that's true. It's like
And we thought, hey, we'll get rich while we do it.
That's right. Like,
Podcast where the money's at.
wait. Podcasts are getting rich. Oh, that's a first.
I was about to say, if that was the case, we've been doing it wrong for quite some time.
we've made
Believe me, I'm joining them.
$14.
Like with Anchor, when you get money for how many people listen to your episodes, whatever. I'm like, it's been like a year and a half. I made $20 already, or 20 something dollars. So I don't know.
Man, you go ahead and retire with that money.
Yeah, man.
I can get that gum I always wanted. We could.
There you go.
You know. So
They're like, honey, go ahead, pick out whatever flavor of gum you want.
yeah,
I'm
you go, like,
rich.
I'm gonna get some Big League Chew.
God.
No, but I mean, I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, I want to get like money. But honestly, I'm not in it for like the money as it is. I mean, yeah, okay, it's cool. Money will come in a little bit here and there. It'll be good. But then I just do it because I love to talk about whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm like, everybody says I have the gift of gab, or there's other people saying, hey, well, you talk too fucking much. You should just have like some kind of show. And then I heard about podcasts, and I'm like, all right, I'll do this and see how it goes. And then I got the record, my own, not my own, but I have one of those stores, that online store that you can put all your shit in. Like threadless.com.
Yeah.
And so you can, matter of fact, go ahead, go on there, get Threadless, tattoo squid pod .threadless.com.
There you go.
Get your shirts, get your skateboard, get your something, get whatever.
Oh, wow. You give people a skateboard?
Well, there is a board on there, and I found this out. There's a board, but you could put like I have one
Yeah.
of my pictures or something that's on it. It's not like a crazy skateboard like a Tony Hawk or that has like all the designs on it. It's just like a Walmart looking, like
got
it's
you.
on the top.
Still cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
We
it
need a
is.
skateboard.
I was
That'd
about
be
to say,
rad.
I think the most, like, the craziest thing we're offering our listeners to buy as like a hat or something.
Yeah, but that's what's good about Threadless. I mean, because the guy from Geeks Hop News, he was like, go to this one. It's good. We don't put no money into it. You just all you need to do is get the pictures, put it on there, click on what you want to do. What shirt, which whatever. Even sneakers. You could put your picture on sneakers or something. And they could buy the sneakers. But
Interesting.
So
it's a lot. There's a lot to do from.
I wanted to ask, since we're on the whole, we're just, asking each other like favorite episodes and things like that. What's been your favorite interview? Because I looked at your back catalog, man. You've had a lot of episodes. You've done a lot.
Believe me, they told me I'm busy. I'm like I like to keep busy. Like every weekend, it's either one podcast or two or three. So I'll do it like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and like I said, when the time comes, at least I have something to be able to do. My favorite. I love them all because I'm humbled that like yourself and numerous others have come on the show when you could be like, nah, not really. We don't really know you, or we haven't really listened to your stuff or whatever. So why should we go on there? But everybody came on, and to me, it's just having a good time. We just like you're saying, banter between you and Andrew. It's kind of like banter with like friendly stuff that we can talk about. It's like being in a bar, but we're not really in a bar. Like you're sitting there, you're bantering with your friends or people that you just met. It's kind of like that. My opinion. So, but my favorite. Let's see. I know I've been sideswiping it. Oh, good God. Film Rage.
Okay.
Because the guy Jim, and he's just like out there. I mean, he's out there in a good way, not like a bad way. He's funny as hell, and the episodes as well. But there's like numerous people. I'm not gonna say one. It's just like Hopsgeek News. Big Nick from Gag on This podcast. And you guys Cartoon Dumpster Dive. And then there's like a slew of others. Like Campfire Classics. Malice After Midnight, Ye Old Crime Podcast. There's a whole bunch of like, even Trash Panda, podcast. And you talk about crazy. Those guys are fucking nuts. And I mean that in a good way because when I did talk with them, like how we're doing, like three of us, and they're in one room. They had their friend Gotts. He came on. And this guy was like, listen, I got to go pick up somebody. He grabbed his phone and he was doing his Zoom chat on his phone. And, he put the phone down in the car. He was driving to get like hot Cheetos and fucking energy drinks and then make his way back. And I'm like, are we going on an adventure? I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And I'm like, I started laughing hysterical. And the other guys are like, what are you doing, man? We're on fucking Squid's podcast, and you're going off getting hot Cheetos and shit. He goes, I'm hungry. It was just crazy. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, okay, cool. And that episode, I think it's going to be going up soon. I think probably by, a week or two, I think.
Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah,
nice,
but
nice,
the next
nice.
one I'm doing now, it's Friday, Friday party or something. I forgot what the whole name is, but it's Friday party. And I got the episode art all made out already. So that's the other thing about this that I like to do, and which I don't know if you've seen it, on Twitter and all that, and big ups to Twitter for the community over there is fucking crazy. It's outstanding. I do like the video, and then I do audio, and then I do whatever we talk about on here. I write it down, and I make episode art of like everything. So
Oh, that's cool.
I
So
can't
that,
wait to see our episode art.
yeah, that's what everybody's
Yeah,
been saying. Like one guy, was it uh, sudden is inevitable or something like that. I forget what but he was like doing Cowboy Bebop and all anime stuff.
and that's cool.
Yeah, which was
Nice.
cool. I mean, we were talking about that and everything else, and he just turned around and he goes, dude, you are famous for this episode art. Everybody's talking about this. Like they can't wait to do one so they can see the episode art that you make up. You know, like I did ones where Manic Pixie, we were talking about like, oh, what the hell was the movie? Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome and books and the Eternals and whatnot, and I just throw everything in there and I try to overlap everything. And
That I was wondering about that because as I was going through your catalog, I'm like, man, he is like changing the episode art a lot. So I was wondering what the story was behind that. But that's cool. I like that.
well, like when you do, well, I mean, when you guys do YouTube, they always have a thing where you can put an episode art. And I've seen this on YouTube every time. Like when you watch YouTube and then you see the certain segment or something, you don't click on it yet, but you see like they'll have like a picture of like a certain episode that's going to be happening. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to do something like that. So, but then I just change it up and I start grabbing pictures from the internet or whatever. Sorry, internet. But anyway, and it's like for instance, like for this one, we'll do like I'll look for a catalog, Cadillacs and dinosaurs, and then I'll find like if I can find a picture of that and the Penguin Memory, Saturday morning cartoons because there's gonna be some kind of banner thing for that,
Oh yeah,
and
big
then
time.
Alpha Flight, some anime, Tiger Sharks in there, Sherlock Holmes. I mean, what else that we're gonna talk about? Because I know you guys are short on time. I know you said you got like an hour or something, so
Yeah.
um, which is like in about 15 minutes or so, I guess. Uh, and then even President Dog, which I want to look that up.
And what that show's called? What's it called, Andrew?
It's called Road Rovers. It's not just the
That's
president;
it.
it's the world leaders. Dogs are a crime fighting group.
Road Rovers. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So stupid.
Oh yeah. It was one of the going back, and I had to pay money to get that one. Like I think I paid $12 to get that on a. So that's
Ooh.
permanently on one of my hard drives somewhere.
Yeah, it's crazy that when you try to find like a certain show or cartoon or whatever, it's like so hard. Like even the Godzilla for me, like the 1970-ish Godzilla, which I love. I don't like that newer shit. That newer Godzilla, and I'm like, you know, it's like, oh, we gotta go with the times. I understand that you're doing it because the kids are getting older. There's newer kids that come aboard, and you gotta make the redo it up and all that. Like Ghostbusters, they had the very first one they did, which was cool, but then they did like two different styles of Ghostbusters, I think, after that of cartoon
Yeah.
ones.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
they did the real Ghostbusters, which is the Ghostbusters everyone loves, and then
Yeah,
they did. We've covered we covered the real Ghostbusters, and then the Ghostbusters, which was the first property um, that actually has that title. It had like a gorilla or something,
yeah,
and
Yeah.
and like a
there's
Model
all
T Ford vehicle.
yeah, and they had and then there's the 90s where they do the extreme Ghostbusters, and then
That
which
was
is
a whole different crew, like a new gang of people busting
yeah,
ghosts,
there was
if
the
I'm not mistaken.
Ghostbusters, but they all had goatees because
Oh
that's how you know
shit.
you're
Yeah.
extreme if you have a goatee.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, what's your take on Ghostbusters? Have you seen? I just recently this weekend past I just saw Ghostbusters Afterlife
Oh,
because
that movie was amazing.
oh yeah, no, me and my girlfriend just watching like holy shit, and she goes, wait, I gotta do dinner. I'm like, no, do it later. We're in
We'll
this.
eat later.
Yeah, we're in this. We can't just leave it and pause it. Like the fuck.
I
But
still I still haven't seen it, so
Oh my god, you gotta watch it. It's like,
Look, I am so I say I'm so busy, but I'm not really that busy. But I probably haven't watched any new movies lately. Um, I mean, I still got like a list of Marvel movies I gotta watch.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like you too. I mean, but I would like to go back to the movies. Just go and then sit there, even though you're gonna spend like $50 on fucking food. It's like, and the tickets. You got like $40 for the tickets and like another $20 or something change for the fucking popcorn and everything else. Um, but we're gonna go and watch it and see how it goes and all that. But then now lately, I've been waiting until it either comes out to like Prime or
yeah.
Hulu or some shit or whatever.
I mean, it's just
Halloween.
a lot easier.
Yeah, it's a lot easier, but then you can stay home and relax. You don't have to go out in like the cold, like over here. It's like,
Yeah, pop your own popcorn.
yeah, exactly. Mr. Poppet or something, or whatever the fuck it is. But it's like me, Halloween Kills. I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting for like this weekend to watch it. So and everybody's like they're like, oh, you should. I'm like, no, shut up, don't say nothing.
Yeah.
That was the last Halloween movie they just did, right?
Yeah,
Halloween
Halloween Kills.
Kills.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you gotta avoid spoilers like the plague to
yeah,
if you're gonna wait to watch these movies or just accept that you're gonna get it spoiled and just
yeah.
live your life.
Yeah, like they got movies that are on TV. They're like, oh, we're gonna check this out, or on like new on Netflix or something. And like they had one where it was a movie called *Malignant*, and I don't know what platform it was on, but I was listening to Four Nerds Bite Nerds. Actually, I'm sorry, no. Well, it's Four Nerds Bite Nerds, but the guy that's on there, he's on another one called High on Horror, and um, they were talking about that, and I'm like, oh, I gotta check this out. So, but my other question is, instead of like you got cartoons, do you watch anything else? But I mean, I know Joel mentioned about Marvel movies that he hasn't got into yet, and but is there any movies like genres of movies that you would like to see other than reviewing cartoons or whatever?
I
Andrew,
watch a
you
lot
want to
of
go first?
crime. Yeah, I watch a lot of crime stuff, a lot of horror.
Nice.
Um, I try my best to. I just heard my wife questioning it because she watches it more than I do. But I don't know. I think the last thing that
Oh,
I
she gave you that face
watched.
like what?
Oh yeah, she was like, "You don't watch horror." And it's like I don't watch horror compared to you.
You
There's a
you
difference.
watch you watch a lot of Law and Order, Andrew. I know
I
that.
I haven't watched a lot of Law and Order lately. The last thing that I like sat down and watched all of was I watched all of Seinfeld, and I sat down and watched all that. So
Here in the background laughing.
yeah, but that's not really horror, is it?
No, but hey, yeah, but there is like certain parts you're like, oh my god, that's so terrifying. You know.
They had to
But,
use payphones.
yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, you want to talk about payphones? I seen a video of what the hell is it fucking called? They have it on YouTube, and they have these kids that go on there. Kids are like 10, 11 years old, 12 years old, whatever. They're like really like smart and everything else, but they'll show them like videos of like metal bands and like, well, who's this? We don't listen. It sounds raggedy. Why do they look like so dirty? But then all of a sudden after, it's like, we're going to show you this one thing. And then they brought in a payphone and they had it covered up. And it's like, listen, just pull that cover off that thing right there. And then one kid like pulled it off and he goes, what what is beep? What was this? He cursed, like, what the fuck is this? You know, and then he goes, well, it's a payphone. He goes, a phone? He goes, where do I go to do the texting? Where's the.
Oh,
where,
the one I think it's called like Kids React or something like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that's it.
They
Yeah.
they show them a Game Boy, like the original Game Boy. I felt like a fossil. They were like, "What is it?" I
Yeah.
mean, where do you go to charge it? I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go into my grave.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, it's like, well, how you operate it? You put a quarter in there. Before that, it was a dime. It's like, what? I gotta waste money? Yeah. I'm like, I just wanted to go and shoot some. I don't want to say 11. I mean, I just wanted to be. I got so mad, like listening to these kids. I'm like, I know they've never seen it, but come on, this is like when in our days, and then people are gonna say the same thing about the kids now. They're like, what the fuck is that?
When was the last time you saw a payphone? Like in the wild? When was it? Do you know?
Oh, I mean, it's like maybe when I was, what am I, 48 now? Probably like when I was like 35, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's in 35. That's not really that long ago. But half the time it does feel long ago.
I
Yeah,
was traveling back from Florida, I think, and
on a
we stopped.
dinosaur, and no.
We stopped at a rest stop, and there was a payphone there. I think that's the only time I've seen a payphone recently.
Yeah,
I I remember, I think maybe it was when we was in Seattle, Andrew. We saw a payphone out there because I remember seeing it and I was like, "Oh my God, it's a payphone. Like this is crazy."
We gotta call someone collect.
And I immediately grabbed that like the receiver and put it up to my ear and then I realized I was like, "This is a payphone in
yeah.
Seattle. Why am I putting this up to my face?" And immediately put it back and was just like hand sanitizer all on the side of my face.
I wanna go and do if I ever see a payphone again, which it's funny because I live in Long Island. So me and my girlfriend we went out east. It's called Montauk Point, and so we're walking around. It's sunny. It's fucking hot. It's the summer. I'm like, we'll just do some walking around, and I come across a payphone. Actually, what? I'm sorry. We called that. That was like the latest I ever seen, and that was like maybe 3 years ago. Actually,
Okay.
I saw like a payphone, but that was like the only one, and I took a picture of it and I posted it like on Facebook and on Instagram or something like that, and I'm like, here's a fossil, you know, it's like all spray painted and but it
Yeah.
had a phone on
Yeah.
it nonetheless. And it was like I wanted to go on that phone and do like I seen Hackers, the movie Hackers, and I'm like, oh, let me just do the same thing, like grab the, hit it like 3 or 4 times, go and you're like, operator, give me this number because I forgot my phone, and then then they call it and you're like, hello. I don't know. I just want to do some kind of hack, kind of thing or whatever. So, but you want to tell everybody what your show, even though from what we were talking about, to kind of get the difference of it whole thing, but explain what the podcast is about, which is more or less cartoons.
So,
Andrew, take it away.
all right. So, Cartoon Dumpster Dive is a podcast about the strange, obscure, and mostly bad cartoons from the past. You might barely remember them, but they still happened, and there's sometimes some pretty good juicy history to learn about. We covered one that was delayed because of the Cold War, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, Russia invaded Afghanistan. That's why that cartoon got delayed. And
Uh,
but just like sometimes these cartoons that no one remembers, they got a pretty good history about them, and they're real easy to make fun of. So that's basically what Cartoon Dumpster Dive is about.
okay, cool. And you guys are you put out episodes Wednesdays. You used to do it
Yep.
on Monday, but now you
Yeah.
do on
Every we
Wednesday.
should a new episode every Wednesday unless something gets in the way.
And can people send you some kind of like like if they know of a cartoon, how do they be able to send it to you?
Okay, we have a website, cartoondumpsterdive.com. We have an email, cartoondumpsterdive@gmail.com. You can send us a message on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is cartoondd. We have an Instagram. a Facebook. We even have a TikTok. They're all Cartoon Dumpster Dive. Uh, it, you can send us a message on any of them, and hopefully we will remember to actually do the request because that's usually a problem we have.
Yeah, I know. It's like mine's like, all right, I know I got this person, and I'm like, and because it was funny about it, because I completely almost forgot about you guys today because I was driving. I'm like, because I don't usually do on Wednesdays, like I usually do like Fridays and Saturdays or possibly Sundays. And then all of a sudden after I heard like a cartoon thing, I'm like, oh shit, fucking cartoon dumpster dive. I'm like, all right, yeah. So
That's what
because
happened with us with you last week. I had a friend's birthday and then I looked at my messages. I'm like, shit. We totally forgot about this squid.
I was like, hey, believe me, it's been done like no, I'm not gonna say numerous times, but maybe 3, 4 times already. So I'm like, I'm used to it. So I'm like, I'm always rescheduling as it is, and um, I'm glad that we can be able to come to a fine line to like where we can be able to get this going and all, Um, but also, like you pretty much just mentioned, like where to find you guys for even mentioning, messages and all that, But you can follow them everywhere that they just mentioned. You can also follow Tattoo Squid Podcast on Linktree, which is linktr.ee/ Tattoo Squid Podcast. That's TA2SQUID. And then you go to YouTube. You can go to the store. You can go in everywhere. There's a whole bunch of links in there as it is. And if you got messages and you want to go and talk to me or anybody else that want me to send a message to, just go ahead, go to Anchor, and they got a little message thing on there. And I don't want to hold you guys up any longer, but I want to say also, if you're watching this on YouTube, which you will, you go and look down, like usually like over down here, there's a video that I have like recently, and then this one is like one from a couple of weeks ago, and then you can click on the link of the squid, tattoo squid emblem, and it'll take you right to whatever. But also, thank you, Joel and Andrew, for stopping by, even though Andrew
Hey,
is
thank you for
incognito.
having us.
Andrew's incognito. We can't see him, but
Yeah.
yeah,
He's got the face for radio or the face
Yeah.
for podcasting. What
Big
can we
time.
say?
yeah. But also, people, give him some money to get a video camera, or give him a video camera and send it to him.
Yeah, I'll take a free video camera.
Yeah, there you go. Just like help out a brother. Jesus.
Yeah.
Help out a brother and a whole bunch of different kinds of podcasts all over the world. Yeah. But have you ever done anything with podcasts? I mean, like real quick. Anybody like besides like mine, have you ever gone on to somebody's, or have anybody have gone on to yours?
Oh, we had a board game designer come onto ours once for
Robotech.
Robotech.
Oh.
We've been on Whack Brackets, a podcast kind of similar to this, only he gives you like hypotheticals to go head to head in.
Yeah.
And we have been on Al Kane's For the Mind podcast. And that's usually that's who's been on ours, and we've been on theirs.
Yeah.
I would love to go and step in with you guys. We call it dive into like some kind of cartoon, if that's possible.
Yeah, maybe with Wildcats. Maybe
we could have you on for Wildcats for
fan.
sure.
Oh yeah, there we go. Because honestly, and I don't know if I can show you, but
it's kind there we go. Okay.
So this guy right here is the grifter from the Wildcats.
Oh, okay,
nice. Yeah. Oh,
So-
he's the iconic one, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah,
like
he has, like, his-
like when you think of Wildcats.
Yeah,
He's got the
because
cool
he's
mask.
Not really he's not really the leader, but he has like single like stories by himself on in comic books.
Gotcha,
No.
gotcha.
Which they do have other ones, but he's like the most that you've seen. Like he'll be he teams up with Batman, he teams up with the Mask, he teams up with like numerous different fucking people. And it's just crazy how they have that going on. So
Yeah.
um but I should write down Wildcats and then put that yeah. That'd be a crazy episode of all cartoons and different things, and especially when I do the audio, I tend to put clips of different things that that we talk about. So I try to put a little bit of like
Oh, nice.
Okay.
so
Yeah.
if I could find like certain like Saturday morning cartoons, like that kind of like thing when you wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
um, Tiger Sharks or something, and Ghostbusters, but that's been on there all the time. So, but again, like I said, thank you. I enjoyed this talk about like cartoons, and I love cartoons. I'll talk about cartoons all the fucking time if I could. But I'm gonna check out these other ones that I didn't know about. So,
Oh, yeah.
Penguin Memory, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, and Road Rovers.
There you
There you
go.
go.
So that's good. My girlfriend's gonna be like, "What the fuck are you watching?" I'm like, "Hey, that's a
Yeah.
first for me. All right, we're gonna take a
Yeah.
look at it." Yeah. So, but guys, check out Cartoon Dumpster Dive. They don't have the video thing yet, but check out their audio. They got some cool stuff. They talk about different cartoons and some that like I said, some I don't even know. Some of them that you won't even know, and they just go into it. Like no shit, no fillers, no nothing. They just get right into it. So, but all right, I know you guys have to go.
Yep.
I usually go and talk to the guy, talk to people after the thing. I don't know if you want to do that. If not, it's not a problem.
I gotta jump off. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Same. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
uh,
So, all right, guys, take it easy. Have a nice day. Have a great night. Actually, I don't know
Yeah.
where the fuck
yep.
you
You
guys
too,
are at.
man.
So, and then you might see a tattoo squid on an episode with Cartoon Dumpster Dive with the
Oh, yeah.
Wildcats.
Yeah.
Oh,
Heck yeah,
yeah.
man.
So, that's gonna be an interesting segment. So,
Yeah.
all right, have a good night, folks. Take it easy,
All
guys.
right.
All
See
right.
you,
See
man.
ya.